Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. Today, we're going to talk about the Secret Space Program. Have a magnificent roundtable group here. And between the four of us here, we're going to share some information that's going to blow your socks off.
Hello, everyone.
So
it's Michael.
I started looking at this Secret Space Program many years ago, and slowly started to see other people that were involved in it. So think about the Secret Space Program. It's like none of us here have actually physically met each other. Mark, this is the first time I met him. So when we start to talk about this information, we all start to jog each other's memories, as you're going to see. You're going to go, oh, wow, this stuff is real. Just like it's been being revealed to us that it's real, we want to do that for you too. JCK, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone. I'm sure there's a lot of your audience. We have very similar audience. So hi everyone. I'm from Australia and I'm JCK and I am a psychic. I guess you could call me a psychic medium, and I've got a YouTube channel, do a lot of kind of very loosely call it remote viewing. It's actually just journeying and tapping into things, various things. And yeah, I'm very new to the Secret Space Program concept. I've really rejected it for a lot of years. And I think Michael can explain this amnesia type thing that a lot of us get. But just in talking to Michael, and he's been triggering memories in me, and then I've been talking to Mark, because Mark and I talk all the time, and he's gone, whoa, okay, I'm remembering stuff. So I think this is going to be really good.
Carmen, you want to talk a little bit?
Sure. I feel like everyone kind of already knows me, and hi everybody. And so I was really wanting to tell a little story, like really fast, that one of the things that happens when you start working in this ethereal, when spirit is creating matter, is you get elevated into things. You don't fight for them. You don't power to them. You lift up to them. And I want to tell everybody, I never told you this, Michael, but how I found you was an accident. I know it's not an accident, but I opened my phone to Twitter and Jay Campbell's live came on, and it was you, Jay Campbell, and a cryptocurrency guy. And that's how I found you. And then I just followed, where it led. And then I wanted to get the remote viewing, and I wanted to get the remote influencing. And now it has literally opened and expanded an entire area of my life where great. I feel like I'm crystallizing my future now with this light force. So thank you.
And Mark?
Hello. How are you? You want to say something? Yeah, I'm English. You have to spell everything out for me. I just got these books off the shelf, which are Michael Sala's space program books. Which a year ago I was reading these, and if you told me in January I'd be on a show talking about this, I'd have laughed in your face. But yeah, I've had an explosive 10-year spiritual journey. My earliest memory is being recruited by demons 50 years ago. I was in the military. I'm currently a poet, which amuses me. So yeah, that's the short version.
And yeah, Mark, you were a pilot in the military, weren't you?
Well, I was a pilot under training, and I left before I finished my training because a couple of friends committed suicide, and they were covered up, and I saw the British military doing things that were the opposite of what the government was saying that they were doing. And this is when it started for me. This was back in '89, and I was like, who am I working for? What is going on? And I spent the last 30 years trying to work that out, and that's why I've ended up here talking to you tonight.
That's fantastic. So for me, I'll just kind of kick it off real quick, and then we'll go around the circle again with our own kind of insights, and as we jog each other's memories. And these memories, when they jog, it's kind of think about your current life, and maybe you go back to like your teenage years and you meet a teenage friend, or your even earlier, where you don't really have all the memories, but you talk to a friend and they say, oh, you remember that time where you were doing so and so, and like, oh yeah. So that's kind of what is happening to the four of us here. As we talk about this information, it jogs us, and people have come up to us and said, many of us, and like, do you know you're in the Secret Space Program? I was like, when I first started hearing this years ago, I was like, I don't know. Yeah, that's not me. That couldn't be me. But then I started to like, I think it might be me actually, so things started to, come together after being in the, SEAL teams for 24 years and the CIA for 11, started to see a lot of stuff. And during that time frame, I was like, maybe I was, and then I've gone on that journey and talked to people that have actually jogged that. Now with JCK, she kind of like asked me after we first started talking and we set up a interview together. She said, I've had these people come up to me and say that I'm in a secret space program. And I was like, boom. I was like, you are, And that's like, I have memories of you losing one of your legs. So I didn't tell her this at first. After we started talking, I was like, I think I can tell her. And she's like, you can tell me anything. I'm good. I'm like, that's you. Because I remember you. You're very powerful. You're a powerful woman in that side. So I said, I see your left leg being blown off. And then you go into the tank like I have. I've been in that tank dead many times and they bring us back. So it's crazy. So you want to talk about a little bit about your experience with that, JCK?
My gammy leg. Yeah, I'll tell you about my gammy leg. When you wrote that, I went, oh my gosh, my left hip is, because I think what made you say that was, I think in the last live we did, I said something about, I trip over my own feet. I'm really not very sporty, but yet I have this life that's always been on the periphery, in the subconscious, or this other side of me that I've always felt. And it was like this parallel life going along. And every year I'd think about this other version of me. And she was always very athletic, very powerful. And I could only equate her to like a Wonder Woman type, very, very strong. And I felt, as you were talking, I don't know if you saw my face, I was going, because I was remembering things as you were talking. Yeah. So it felt like this Wonder Woman, but also like in a legion of women, just very strong women. And definitely I was one of the looking glass technology people. Definitely. I could see that and I could feel it. But the leg, I don't know exactly what happened. I just know that in this life, in this physical body, my left hip went really weird for some reason about 10 years ago. And no one could ever, it's like one leg feels longer than the other. And I don't quite know how to, it goes out every now and then. And we've done all these sorts of things, stretches, and seen, osteopaths and physiotherapists and stuff like that. And it plays up every now and then. And as you told me this thing, I said, oh, my left, that makes sense. And then I said, yeah, but in my head, I'm going, yeah, but I was in the tank and it got regenerated. And then I remembered the tank vision that I had at the start of this year, where I woke up going, oh my gosh, I was in a tank getting my leg regenerated. And you said, yeah, we were in these tanks. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So I've had very vivid memories of these. They contained fluid of some kind, almost like amniotic fluid.
Right.
And in this one vision of it, I was in there and I saw, I felt water around me, and I went like that. And I tried to open it. And the guy in charge of like the tank said, what are you doing? Get back in. You're not finished yet. And then he closed it up and I went back in. So I can remember that quite clearly. And I interpreted that as the Matrix type. You're hooked into the Matrix. So I still don't know what all of this means. They're just visions that feel like me and they're happening to me. And it's not just vivid imagination. And I think that when we start to collaborate with other people, the fact that I was in a public platform, I'll stop talking soon, and people, just the minute I came out and the minute I said looking glass technology, and I thought that was no big deal. I said, I went up, I saw these VIPs in this white room. The white room's really important, I want to say, because I think this is part of the SSP. I felt that yesterday, that we go through this wormhole, and then I hear in my head the white room, and then we go into this white room. And these VIPs are people we know now, here and now, okay? They said to me, walk up to this looking glass technology. They didn't call it looking glass technology. They said, can you go and step up to the thing? It's like a platform, and it had like this, in the way I saw it was like a dome of glass. And as we looked into it, I saw things appearing. almost like a crystal ball, and I just could read it. And then as soon as they knew I could read it, they said, she's good. And I was able to, it was just so clear to me, and everything came to me very, very clearly. And I was able to see and interpret timelines, and that's what they were doing. That's what they wanted. They wanted to know what was happening next, and it had to do with the current events. So my guess is that every time I do this, I wipe my memory. Okay, because if every time I go, I feel like it's the first time.
Yeah, there's a lot of memory wiping. That's what a lot of secret space program and super soldiers have talked about, how they wipe our memories. But because we're some of us are starting, as we get older, we start to connect with our Akashic records on a soul level. So all these memories that have been suppressed or wiped or whatever are revealed to us again. So that's what a lot of us, I believe, are experiencing. And so for Carmen, I've been working with her for a little bit, and it just kind of like started coming through for her too, as far as like seeing her in the secret space program. Carmen, you want to talk a little bit about your memories and stuff?
Sure. And you know me, I always have to make it life applicable. I'm always trying to bring it down so that everyone can enjoy it, because I feel like I'm the salesperson for the ethereal world. And I want to talk people into exploring, because what they do is they'll bring back pieces of themselves. And I want everyone to have this incredible feeling that you get. I feel like also a little bit like Harry Potter, and you're like Hagrid and Dumbledore mixed in one, and you've like pulled me out of obscurity. And I went from like the little underneath the staircase to next thing I know, I'm blowing up. And so there's things that happen as you do it that are really fun. They're like these little treasures. And for me, you had given me three things. You had said something about the Chinese royalty in certain dynasties, and then you had said the secret space program. And as soon as you said it, it just went through me, and I just went like I'm scanning, and I'm like, okay, I almost, just like Mark, I almost got my pilot's license. I only have 85 hours, but I flew and had a great time with it. Very attracted to the sky. Wanted to be an astronaut when I was younger. And I think I told you that on one of the previous shows. But what's happened is it's starting to build, and I'm starting to get flashes. So I'm kind of like, I feel like just when I close my eyes, it's a looking glass. It's kind of different than an actual thing. Although I have started to have this little hole open up where it's very technicolor inside and kind of blurry around the outside. But I've seen you twice, and you're laying on this thing, and you're going into this thing with your head. I don't know what it is, but you're also like, your jaw is huge. Like you're already like a huge man, but like you're like huge. Like it's crazy how big you are. And I've seen that twice. And then I've what else have I had? I had the White Room. When you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is a place. And I think of it as a healing place. Like there's some
yes, there is, definitely.
Okay. And so, and I got that. And then the other thing that I got are these pyramid like docking stations where we put our spaceships, but they're cloaked in mountains. They're mountains. And I keep seeing the pyramids like over and over again. It's really cool. And they even kind of look like they lift up like the dollar bill eye. It's wild. So that's oh, and one more thing that I thought was really cool was I saw these black cubes, and I know they mean something, and I don't know what they are, but there's 5 of them, and they were stacked like blocks, and they look like they were made out of like a acrylic and stone or crystal.
Yeah, definitely looks like you're jogging.
Like obsidian. Yeah.
Mark, you wanna talk a little bit about your memories?
Well, I've got to start by saying that I had absolutely no idea if I'm in a secret space program, but some very strange things have happened recently, but also I've been triggered for memories from way back. Like Carmen just said about the flying, I was obsessed with flying when I was a little boy for no particular reason. You know, I came from a small village, and these harriers, that I think you'd call them what do you call them? AV-8Bs in America. They used to fly over the head, and I was like 7 years old, and I'd look up going, I'm going to do that. And everybody laughed at me because I was a poor kid, and that wasn't the kind of thing a poor kid did. And I was short, and I had a pot belly, and there was no chance, you know. And my careers teacher laughed at me when I said, yeah, I'm going to be a pilot. He said, anyway, there's this factory down the road. And so I ended up doing it, and I ended up getting the highest score that they'd had in 20 years. And then I ended up leaving it, which was amazing that I'd left it. And I've had a massively varied career ever since, because I kept getting pulled into doing different things. And it always felt like, even when I was really small, I knew that I'd been here thousands of times and this was my last time. And I just wanted to cram in everything I possibly could. And it got so to the point where after I'd finished university, which was almost a complete waste of time, I went for a job, and they didn't believe my CV. They said, this is not possible that anybody's done this much by the age of 21 or 22 or whatever. And then I had this, the thing about memories, I think, is really interesting, because I had meningitis when I was about 7. My parents were told that I was likely going to die. And I had this memory that I was lying in the operating room talking to a nurse all the way through the operation. But then suddenly, about 8 years ago, I remembered that I was looking down on myself. Wow. And I remember them putting this paint on my back, and I remember the color of it. And I had a conversation all the way through with somebody who was next to me. And then I had a lot of out-of-body experiences as time went by. And when I was flying, I did survive a few situations that I shouldn't have survived, and like an inverted spin once where my instructor passed out, and I didn't know how to get out of it, but I did. And then I got lost over London once with no fuel, and I had to delay 7 passenger jets trying to get into Heathrow. And I was like 18 at the time. And I've always been obsessed with UFOs, always, and I've seen thousands of UFOs, absolutely thousands of them. And I do believe that that is simply a case of looking up. You know, most people sit and watching the TV. I don't. I go outside and look up. I did live in Marrakesh for 4 years, and when I was there, we sat outside every night because it was like 30, 40 degrees by the pool. And, you know, one night I saw 40 of them with 9 witnesses for half an hour doing Mach 30 right-hand turns, the whole thing, and some very strange things. But in recent weeks, like talking to you guys now, and it's a bit like how I met JC. I mean, I don't even know how I met JC, but I saw her first video and I went, I know her. And then suddenly we're talking, suddenly we're bringing a song out next week. We're doing all sorts of stuff. And I started explaining to JC about the fact that all this year, I've woken up in the morning like I've been beaten up. I felt like I've been in the ring with Mike Tyson every morning. And I've been going to sleep like in the middle of the day, which I never do. I'm a very high energy person. And I've just been exhausted, still getting lots of work done, still doing lots of things, but being really, really exhausted and having these really strong, vivid memories of being in these situations, visions with demons, what I can best describe as demons, and a big sword. And then JC, who's like this major psychic, says, yeah, I've seen you do it. And I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's kind of thoughts that I've got to share right now. It's a very interesting, and every day things are opening up. I had a healing today with an amazing healer in Ireland called Janie Lavelle, and she I don't know if she meant to do it, but there was just this incredible release of some attachments that have been there for like a long time. And I saw something very, very strange, and you know, and this is all becoming kind of normal now. I'm looking forward to finding out more, because I'm getting this. And the poetry, I don't know if anybody's, I'm just churning out poems like nobody's business, and they're all writing themselves. It's not me. It's just coming through, right? Get this out, get this out, get this out. And it's just an amazing vibration. The freak, I can feel it now just talking to you. I've got the chicken skin and everything else. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, it is extraordinary. I mean, all of us from, separate, lives, we all have different, we grew up differently in different areas of the country for Carmen and I, and you guys in, pretty much different countries. And so it's amazing that we all come together and we have very similar experiences. So Mark, when JCK was telling me a little bit about you, I felt like you were in the program with us. So the one that I feel that we're all in is one that's like, there's a space program where there's all kind of people involved in it in many different capacities. And then there's like the special program, like special forces type guys. And we fly aircraft. And I was just sharing with Carmen how I saw her one time and I could see her clearly. She's in the aircraft we basically communicate with telepathically. There, it's like a soul. Is the aircraft is alive, has a soul. So I see our hands on like
sentient.
Yeah, sentient being. Thank you. And basically our hands are on controls, and we control all these different things separately. We have drop down for each eye that sees different things. We are connected because I think all of us have connected with the looking glass technology. So I see the looking glass and I have a connection with it. Once you make that connection, you can actually be away from it, and it telepathically sends information to you. So you're telepathically connected to the aircraft. You have all these controls at your fingertips and hands, and your drop down eyes, your thinking things that you need to do. You're also connected with your looking glass, the spaceship, and the people that are in your group that you're fighting with. It's insane how we multitask all this stuff. So that's something we learn as little kids. So sounds like you were taking in as a little kid, like I've seen the two ladies here. I've seen them come in. I'm a little bit older, so I think I was part of their training at one time as a commander type. But I've done all this stuff too. And this might like take you to a different level, but we dragon ride. The reason why we dragon ride is okay, beautiful. See, you only secret special forces guys.
I saw this the other day. Michael. I had a dream about. He didn't
even know that you wrote to me about that, Michael. He didn't even know that you wrote to me about it.
No,
I knew it.
So vivid.
I heard you. Yeah, you're in because the dragons basically we ride them in because they can go multi-dimensional.
Yeah,
they're super advanced. Because we think of reptilians as being really, really bad, but they're reptilians, but they're incredibly advanced spiritually and all kinds of stuff. And we connect with them too on a spiritual level, soul level. And you pick your dragon picks you. So then we ride it in from spacecraft. We fly out of spacecraft in space and go down. Now we're all like rigged up with like special masks and suits and everything to let us go into the atmosphere. But they can just glide through. It's no problem for them. And because we're in that, we have like, we're trying not to be noticed on like some kind of radar type thing. So it can detect, machinery and stuff like that. So that's why we ride there, because they're organic.
Because they're organic.
Ride them in, our equipment and everything. We have like lightsabers, all kind of crazy stuff. The
Listen, when the pandemic's over, when this pandemic's over, can we make a movie, if nothing else?
I know, right? This is incredible. Yeah. So JCK, you want to?
You can see my face. I'm going like that because I'm remembering.
Invisible spacecraft you fly around?
Yeah, like Wonder Woman. I'm remembering so much stuff as you're talking. That's why I'm going, oh my gosh. Okay, so I have this confession to make. I've told Mark about this and it's embarrassing. This all makes sense. This all makes sense. No. Shh. There's okay, I have this phobia and it's the most weirdest phobia ever and it all makes sense now.
Oh.
Don't say it. Oh, God. Okay. I have a phobia of Google Maps. Satellite imagery over water. Oh my God, I want to vomit. Like I can't. And I'm like, where would this come from? I've never been been looking over, and people go like, oh, you're afraid to go on a plane. I'm like, no, I'm not afraid to go on a plane. It's not, it's the directly looking over water, like I'm falling in and I'm about to drown. Okay. Satellite images, I can't even talking about it right now. I feel like I want to throw up. If I'm Googling if I scan over and it goes over the water, I go, whoa, and I can't even look, I can't look at it. I do this, I actually cringe and I have to cover the computer, and everybody laughs at me and they go, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's a past life. And then I'm like, in what past life would I have where I'm above flying?
Now you know.
And then as you're talking about the planes and I was like, oh, I fell off. I fell off. I must have fallen off or something, because it's like
a lot of dragons are sea creatures.
Oh.
So maybe it's the diving down with them.
Oh God, don't even.
It could be your heads up display too. You
yeah.
And you know you're going to crash, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you're getting all this heads up display, and it's like, and you're like, damn it, you're like, you're going to crash.
Yeah, it's too much. But I want to touch on consciousness, because I think I can't really talk to the experiences so much. I don't know much about it. I'm not an expert. People write to me about secret space program. I say to them, I don't know. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what we do, and I don't know who hired us. I don't know who we're working for. I know nothing. But just about consciousness, something I picked up the other day when I was reading one of your emails, Michael, was that the reason why, so as we come together in this great awakening or the apocalypse, this great revealing of information, the reason why information is suppressed is because this is a war on consciousness, and the actual secret space program is connected through consciousness. So whoever these entities were that were taking over the planet, this darkness that has controlled our reality, this realm for so long, they were stealing consciousness. Okay, they are stealing it, and they have created certain things such as this reincarnation trap, that whole samsara cycle. That is about stealing consciousness. Okay, and whoever owns that consciousness owns you, essentially, or they can control our reality. This is why it's all fought up here, and why this is so real. Why as we're talking about it, it's not just a dream, like it's actually a real thing, and it's affecting realities, and time doesn't exist, because it's not about, oh, it happened 20 years ago. Time just doesn't exist. It's all happening all at once. All right. And that's why we're all kind of converging. So I said I did a live last night really quickly. Oh, no, it wasn't quick. Sorry. It was an hour and a half. Okay. So I did a live, but I mentioned that the live that I did before, where I was actually drawing, live on air, because I'm an artist, a demon that I saw under the Vatican. The response I got from people, because what we did was I did this very, very incredible image. It was very real, and people were reacting to it. And I said, but we're going to blast this with love. We're going to send it love, and send it this love energy, and really hype up this vibration, and let it, disintegrate. And it really was a very, very powerful experience. So in that live, there were 1,000 people watching, all doing this. And then the people after had the same experiences as the people that were doing it live, as if time didn't exist and they were there. And the response I got in the emails, and the reason why I'm explaining this is because this explains consciousness and explains all of this, and why this is important, and why where we put our focus is important. I had an email from a lady saying, I was really scared to watch this, but then when I did, she said, I would do something. She said, I would focus in on the throat of the demon. And the minute I would do that, you would say in the video, now I can hear it screeching, or something like that. Or she said, I started smelling this horrible smell, the putrid smell of this demon, as I was looking at the picture. And then you said, and when I went into the remote view, I could smell it. I could smell it, and it smelled like, so every time I would say something, after she would have the thought, and then I would say it. It was almost as if she was there. So does this start to make sense to people, that time doesn't exist? Consciousness is all connected. Not only that, we're affecting and impacting something. I'm just drawing a picture, and the collective are zooming in, and they're all feeling the same thing. They're all experiencing it. So this is just what I'm trying to say is that consciousness, our attention, our focus is so powerful. It creates realities. Why are these memories suddenly coming to prominence in all of us? Why are we all meeting now? Why are we remembering the secret space program? Why was it a secret? we're we're remembering it because our minds were wiped for a reason, because if we remembered it in a visceral way, the power and you would remember your power, you would remember what we're doing and why we're here. And that's why they keep us very focused in on a very, very limited view of the world through the television, and they're controlling our consciousness and our attention through the mainstream media. They keep telling you the same narrative because they know just how powerful it is. They know how powerful we are. And they keep putting us, no, watch here. Be afraid. Keep looking there. We don't want you to look over there. That's all coming down. And that's why all of us are connecting. And I realized the other night when you were telling me about this, is as we connect and as we come together and as people watch, all their memories start sparking and everyone starts waking up. We all start sparking these memories and we're like, oh, I remember who we are. I remember we're multidimensional. I remember that, we can go to other parallel universes and we're multidimensional. We're affecting realities on many, many levels. Mm-hmm. And that's the power. That's what they're trying to suppress. That's why they censor, truth channels. That's why they was the power of just people connecting on a mass meditation, for example, or a group meditation. Like I think it was 1.1 thousand in the chat, all focusing on this beautiful energy. And I felt that the love that they were sending, it was like, my heart was just like, and people watching after it went live felt the same thing. They all got that feeling. So we are powerful in this, and we are sparking each other for a reason. So I felt today, this roundtable that you called, you were, Michael, you had that, you had that thought to do this for a long time, because, I think you're really powerful and your channel's blowing up because you're awakening so many people. It's not just the politics that you talk about. You're the spiritual aspect of what you do is so well-rounded, and the courses that you offer are just, they're like, this is what everybody needs. And these are the powers in the new world that we're going to all awaken to. We're going to start to have all of this available to us.
Boy, I love it when you start channeling. Wow.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's pretty much what all of us, individually are focused on, helping others awaken. So when we come together as a group with something that's this powerful, this is a very powerful subject, because this is going on and it's being blocked, like you're talking about, it's being controlled. We have been, wiped in a certain level. We agreed to that. So we agreed to have these parallel lives that we're living in the secret space program. We're awakening to it. And they, I believe, are happy that we're starting to reveal it, because when it does come out, it's not going to be such a shocker, And Carmen, so I'm gonna lead to you again. You started having memories of, I believe, Jupiter, because you talked about an orange planet. Jupiter, we have bases on Jupiter, massive planet, obviously. I think Jupiter is a brown dwarf. I think that Saturn, where I have a home on one of the satellites that goes around on those rings around Saturn, we all have homes there. And we have one of those, and they're terraformed, and we have our own, like I have a ranch on one of them. So
that's a line for a date. That's the best.
I know, it's great. I mean, after working hard in the secret space program, you want to relax, right? So, and then they treat us good because we work hard. So, and that's a beauty also as we go forward. Those that really do good works aren't going to be penalized like we're seeing right now. Those that share and do things for not just humanity, but for, the whole galaxy, it's crazy, universe. So we're there, we're doing that. So we get rewarded for it. It's pretty cool. So you're having these memories, Carmen, that are coming through. It's really cool to see you're connecting with it as we awaken them. And the sharing that we're doing right now, we keep sparking each other, as you see. You share some stuff? Yeah.
It's crazy. But one of the things I think is fascinating that both you and Mark have had a near-death experience. And I like to keep reminding people that when someone's had a near-death experience, they are familiar with these realms. And so it's easy for them to get there. It's easy for them to, do poetry, do whatever. But then I want you guys all to know that it can be just as easy for you, because I didn't have that. It was a practice. I had to build into something that I really wanted. But this near-death experience, it gives validity to it. And all you have to do as somebody that's interested is go, what did I like doing as a kid? What do I think my past lives were? What do I want my future life to be like? And begin crystallizing and putting that scaffold together. But yeah, I saw, I mean, just completely orange, lots and lots of dirt. And then I have one vision of me in an aircraft that's all glass on the top. And then I have another one where it's like more of a snub nose kind of round thing. And when I was in the snub nose one, there was something up here. I don't know what it was, but there was something that I was looking at, and I could see that down in this planet there was this huge city. I mean, it's like something out of Star Wars, and it was all mostly orange and dark. I don't know if it was sunset. And then I saw this explosion go off, and then I saw another one where I could see this, like, it was almost like rectangular, huge, like ship, and I could see it hitting, like in the movies, it's like kind of like the warp speed, but in this vision, it was an expansion, like it went through this thing that expanded. It's wild.
Yeah, just interject real quick.
And then I had an OBE.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Just interject real quick before you finish, I guess, and Mark jumps in. That thing you were talking about, where I go into, there's groups of us that do that, and we're going into time. It's time wars. So we basically are put into a consciousness because we know they're playing games on the timeline. So we're inserted to go like stop out some stuff. So that's what I just want to put that in there real quick.
Yeah, and the other thing that makes it applicable to now is they're really trying to mess with our consciousness, like JC was saying, but it's like in the vaccine, or it's in the flicker rate on the television or whatever. And we're at this precipice and this point of making the decision between, do we want to love these emotions? Do we want to appreciate the resonance that we get, or the goosebumps that Mark was talking about? Or do we want to choose this science and this intelligence and this, emotionless world that, can end up horrible in the future?
Nice. Mark, you want to jump in a little bit?
Yeah, there's a load of things that come up there. One of which is to follow on from JC about this hit me quite a number of years ago, that we create the reality that we're in, and they don't just control it with TV, they control it with symbols, right? So if you walk through London, I'm just saying this because this hit me about 10 years ago. If you walk through London, there's one symbol you cannot avoid, and it's the London Underground, which is actually Saturn. And what's really interesting about is that the symbols themselves contain information that comes into us, and then we create. So they're controlling that. And this hit me a long time ago. And I started by saying that my earliest memory is being recruited. It was a recruitment that was happening of what I can only describe as demons, demonic entities, or something along those lines. And it's been a theme of my life. And I never talked about this to anybody until I ended up on YouTube about 3 months ago, and it just came out of my mouth. And I just got, I don't even know how I started my own YouTube channel. I had to do it. It was ridiculous. And that was after, I was suicidal 2 years ago, and I got taken right to the lowest point of my life. And I got this choice. I got pulled out of bed, and it was like, you've still got things to do. You've got to do this. But that reminded me of all these attacks. I've been attacked my entire life by these entities, whatever you want to call them. And there was one question I was going to ask you, Mike. Have you heard of the V2K program? The voice to There was this really, really dark moment about 8 years ago when I was in my kitchen chopping some vegetables, and suddenly a voice in my head said, "Kill your children."
Yeah.
And I dropped the knife, and I went outside the house sweating, going, "What the fuck was that? What was that? That wasn't me. What the hell was that?" And I met an ex US Navy guy a few years later who'd done loads of research into this, and he said it was called voice to skull. They can beam these thoughts into your head. Yep. And I've spent most of my life going, why do they keep attacking me, right? What is it about me that makes them want to stop me, whatever it is that I'm doing? I'm just an ordinary guy, right? And then and then this, you know, Jason was talking about phobias, and as soon as I was born, I had a massive phobia of spiders, right? But I've also had these big repeating dreams of battling these giant spiders with big swords. You know, I watched that in Lord of the Rings. I was like, I've been there, I've done that. You know, when Frodo's fighting. And then JC tells me she's seen me do it as well, and I'm like, oh god, this is getting ridiculous.
I saw him die. I saw it kill you.
Yeah. Thanks.
And I was right. It was really vivid.
I have seen the spiders underneath Australia, and basically what they do is they service the children that are under there, or were. So what they would do is you know how a spider is, they'll come in and like suck blood out and keep their prey alive a little bit longer. They're all like wrapped up. They keep getting a little blood here, a little bit of blood there. That's what they were doing. And I saw them like running and going to teleporters and like going to another place. I was like, wow. So yeah, spiders. There's so many things that we find out there. I talked about Rockman, doing a Rockman fight where I was killed. Have memories of like I'm in the tank, and I know if they bring us back in a certain time, then our consciousness will come back in. So I remember like being killed, everybody coming in and rescuing me, get me back out. And then next thing I know, I'm like, like that. And you have to feel all the pain and all the agony that you go through in your death. Because normally what we do, a lot of us before we die, we just check out. Leave. So, but when you have to come back, you have to experience it. So sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know. But if you're really dedicated, you know, you're like, oh, got to get back, you know, got to get back and fight, you know, because my teams, you know, needs me and stuff like that. So we're very dedicated like that, and we do crazy stuff like that.
So who are we working for, Michael?
All right, so who we're working for, basically there's lots of different ET races out there, are obviously far, far more advanced than we are. The Nazis basically started their own program. They went to the moon with it. Eventually, you know, they got pretty advanced with it. We sent one time Admiral Byrd went down with a couple fleets of aircraft carriers. They got spanked by the Nazis because they had advanced technology that they had gotten from basically dark ET forces. So eventually, the U.S. and UK and some other groups got the Nordics that came in to help us. Now, I've heard differing stories where the Nordics are bad. I'm like, no, not all of them. So it's just like every race. There's some that are good, some bad. So I guess we got the good ones, fortunately. They came in and started helping us. And, you know, we've heard the stories of where, you know, alien-looking craft would come over like silos and shut down the missile silos, so they're like useless. We've heard all those stories. So there is, you know, positive ET races. They have helped us advance. So we're reaching a level of consciousness that was like taken away from us back in Atlantean times, where we were doing all this stuff. It was open, you know, had space travel, ET races, walking amongst us, everything. And then a negative ET race came in, archons and all kind of crazy stuff, and basically shut us down. Now I do demon fighting as well, and big time. I got all kind of crazy story how I go in and I've taken out terrorists. I've taken their terrorists out, their demon out, and it makes them vulnerable, and then they get killed. A lot of times by my former SEAL Team 6 compadres. But I don't think that our Angelic over there has done she remembers yet. Maybe she does, of being a demon fighter, but she is a demon fighter. And I see her with these like crazy big boots, like going into caves.
That sounds like
looking
me.
for big boots. Yeah, there you go. So, see?
Oh my god!
And I think the boots are like, they have like little jetpacks on them, or so. I don't know, but it's like,
Let's fly out of there. My twin flame is me.
Astro Boy.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Wow.
My Facebook, if you go to my Facebook page, it says Demon Fighter, Father of Fight. That's what I.
Yeah.
And some.
I'm tapping into you. Yeah, you're definitely a demon fighter, and it's
let me see this one. I saw.
Yeah,
I've been at it a while. I saw this medium in December before all this crap, and she was channeling spirit, and she said, "Oh, by the way, the spirits want to know if you fancy being an exorcist." I went, "What? I'm an entrepreneur, not an exorcist." But they asked me to do it, and I feel like I've been doing that to some degree with my channel and with people that I've been meeting, and I've been doing it in the other realms as well. That is a very strong thing for me.
Yeah, and I always like when Mark asks like who do we work for? To me, I mean I mean this as sincerely as I can. I'm working for God. And if that means I'm going down to the gates of hell, you know, I'm not going to go in hell, but I'll burn the wings a little bit, hitting close. And I feel like I've done that in this lifetime with people really close to those situations. And Christians get very upset when you talk about stuff like this, but I really encourage people to keep their minds open, because there's a lot that's been hidden from us. And just one example is the Christian or the Catholic Church, the Christian Church will tell you to stay as far away from astrology as you can. But who owns all the big telescopes in the world? The Vatican. And I think I've told you this already, but really keep this in mind and do some research, because there's a lot of information out there.
Well, one of those telescopes is actually called Lucifer, isn't it?
I was going to say that. Thank you, Mark. Very good.
I mean, it's not like they're hiding it, is it?
No. Can I say something? I had a massive download. If you see my face, I mean, like, God, I can't play poker. Let's just say that. Okay, I can't play poker. Open book. I had this massive download as you were talking. I think it was either Michael or Carmen was talking, and I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know if any of you are involved in this, but I had this memory suddenly. Okay, I'm one of the people who creates the crop circles.
I love the crop circles.
That's awesome.
Thank you for doing that.
So it's like this weird ship thing you're in, and it's invisible. It's like, oh, I can't even explain it. But we're sending out encoded messages because you're time traveling. So we already know what's going to happen, and we're sending out messages like symbolism. And for those who could read it, they'll get it, they'll understand, and it has to be done in, oh my God, I can't even I'm getting all this information, I can't explain it.
I've seen videos of crop circles being created by these very small balls of light.
Yeah, and we're in like a little bubble thing. So you're big, but I don't know how to explain
balls of light, the second
it's consciousness.
Used to call them the Foo Fighters because they saw them all the time, the pilots in the Second World War.
Well, it's us.
Really, because Chris Everard has
they're not aliens.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Chris Everard's stuff? He's got footage of really good stuff. Yeah, those crop circles again. I've been drawn to those since I was a kid. Absolutely fascinated by them, and it's like all of these subjects that that kind of put you on the weirdo society, and then suddenly we're having to all of you is that. I've spent a lot of time looking into, when there has been information online about the secret space program over the last few years, Blue Avians, etc., etc. I felt like I spent hours and hours watching that, and I never really got anywhere with it. Do you think there's a lot of misinformation out there about this, and that's deliberate? Because I know that some people will be watching this thinking we're a bunch of nuts. So, because of that disinformation, and I feel strongly that there's been a lot of I don't know, shall we say, incorrect information put out there to muddy the waters.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Mark, because none of us here, we're all like, we're of the light, and we're definitely trying to reveal information. We're trying to grasp this as well. That's one of the reasons why this roundtable happens, because we, have this discussion, and you see JC's like lighting up, like, oh, it's like, that's the way we all are, because we're like, we're triggering each other. It's like, oh, I do that too. And it's like, that's what's fun about it. So it's spontaneous. You see, none of us know each other physically. We've never met, and we're all in, like I said, different parts of the world. And it's like, but we're coming to these realizations because we're definitely involved in something that's beyond what we're normally exposed to. So I can tell you, having been in secret programs for most of my life, that the technology is incredibly far more advanced than what we are exposed to right now. There's amazing things. It just it blew me away. Of course, some of that has to stay, I guess, because, if we revealed it, our enemies would get an advantage. So, but I think it's going to be revealed.
Sorry, I just thought of a question. It's a secret space program, right? What does it pay well?
That's interesting because I don't think we get paid like we do here. Because we do things because we love what we do. We know we're fighting for good causes and so forth. The reward that I was talking about is like we get to advance and do more cooler stuff, and we have, like I said, we have like our own little world. That's all ours. Saturn has like all these little, it's like it's like condos, but it's your world. It's literally your world. And there's thousands, tens of thousands that are floating around Saturn. And, of course, on Saturn itself, on Jupiter itself, there's bases outside of Jupiter. We can't see them because they're made invisible, so telescopes can't see them, like Lucifer telescope. So there's all these different things that are out there that are not, revealed to us here. So as technology starts to really come in, like we know it's going to come in soon. I think we all have that feeling, and it's about to blow. So us revealing this information, helps reveal that.
Well, I was saying to Mark the other day, I said, we're part of the quantum financial system already. Like, I just feel it's at this, and that, if to explain that to people, is that I guess it's, or maybe Mark can explain it, but it's a system of like, if you are doing something for humanity, if you're doing something, you will be looked after. You will be looked after. That was the information I got. I believe one of the people I see in that white room, he made me start this channel. So that to me was what woke me to this possibility of the SSP, because it was a meditation that I normally did and I always did, and it was like a wormhole or a hole I went into, and then a white room, and I'm like, okay. And it's all, and he was laughing because he's like, me, like, they laugh at me because it's like I always have this memory wipe, right? And I'm like, who are you? What are you doing in my lounge room? And he had a very clear message to me, and he said to me, you will be looked after, but you need to do this. You need to do this channel. No, sorry, you need to do this Facebook group, and then you've got to document all the stuff that you're seeing in your visions, because they knew already that it's going to trigger memories in other people, right? Because that's exactly what happened in that first video that I did. Looking underground and seeing the demons underground and seeing all of that, it awoke so many people. I think that video, I'm telling you, that's had 1 million views, but YouTube has just kept the number the same. It peaked at a certain point and it did not go higher than that, but it's had millions of shares and things like that. But that awoke so many people and it triggered them, and that's why. So anyway, back to the quantum financial system. So he said to me in that thing, he said, don't worry, you've got to do this. This is your job. You're going to go viral. And this is me, like, I'm this housewife that's not working. And I'm like, yeah, what? And he's like, you're going to be looked after. Don't worry. And that's how it's been. It's like, things are coming and I'm fine. It's like I can do this full time. I'm looked after. And I think that if you're doing this service to others, this is going to be increasingly obvious that that's how you're going to be looked after. So that quantum financial system, it's already in place, I believe. And I think you will start to see this more and more with the people who are prominent. And I think that's what you're trying to say, Michael, is that, are we paid? We're looked after. It's not about wealth per se, but it's you're looked after.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to
now in that program, like you guys were like, you saw my jaw like huge.
Yes, I did.
We're all enhanced.
Yeah.
We're enhanced unbelievable, because we have to fight. like reptilians that are like 7, 8, 12 feet tall. We have to be big too. So we've been enhanced. That's why they bring us in when we're young. So both of you ladies are like,
I look like Wonder Woman. I'm hot.
Very beautiful, but
I'm hot, man.
Yeah,
I got muscles. I could see.
exactly.
I could see it.
Everyone is big for a reason, and it's
I'm like an Amazon. I think Carmen as well. When I see her, she's like this tall, like.
I think Carmen's like bigger than me in that life.
Yeah.
Life.
Yeah.
At least she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman's mom.
I definitely feel this weird Amazonian thing, like with a bunch of women. Like I feel this team. I don't know. Does that sound familiar?
Tribe, yeah.
What's that, Mark?
Connection. All of us are good.
What'd you say, Mark?
There's a reason why those stories are in our culture.
Yeah.
That's why they're there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Do you know, by the way, I've got the biggest Wonder Woman comic book collection. No joke, worth thousands of dollars. It's crazy.
Like it's like Carmen.
I mentioned Lord of the Rings earlier. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you know that Tolkien was interviewed in Amsterdam in the 50s, and he said it was based upon the true history of Earth.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And he got access to those books, which I think they were underneath Cambridge University. Wow. And he was just telling the true story of Earth, you know.
That's like go ahead. Going back to what you were saying about Admiral Byrd, because a lot of people don't know who Admiral Byrd is, but he has one of the most phenomenal stories I've ever read, because he literally he was such a great he was such a great military and such a committed man to his country, that even though he experienced going down to, I think, Antarctica and being pulled into a hole and literally like he couldn't fly his plane anymore, and he experienced this whole other world, he refused to tell anyone about it. He wrote about it in his journal, and his nephew's the one that released the story. And I think that gives it more legitimacy. Like, I think it was very cool that he had the discretion to do that, because had he blurted it all out, people might not have believed it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Go.
So we got an hour, but if you guys want to take a little bit further, I'm totally open to it.
We can, if you're willing to flesh out some more memories. I mean, you seem to know a lot about it, Michael. Like, how long have you been at it where you've been collecting the memories?
So for me, it started probably before I left the CIA. So I'd say about 10 years ago, people were randomly coming up to me and said, you know, you're a super soldier in a secret space program? And I'd be like, random people. I didn't even know these people, you know? And sometimes it would be like, you know, on Facebook, I'm like, is the CIA fucking with me? You know, like they're trying to set me up here, you know, so that I like start talking about something, or like, oh, you're crazy. See, we knew. And so they're out. And so I just kind of like ignored them for a long time. But like I said, there were things that had happened to me when I was a boy, a young boy, like say 12 years old. I literally saw myself right now appear to me while I was playing golf with my friends. And I turned, and they weren't looking. They were like starting to walk off. So if something made me turn, I turned, and I kind of like came out like a vortex, boom. And I had like the space suit or something on. And I'm looking at myself. I just need to appear to you so you know that you're good in the future. You're going to do good. And then back out. Yeah. What? So I was like, you know, that was weird. But then when I started having the stuff come through, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that time. You know, so little things like that started coming through. So I would watch guys like, you know, you're talking about, you know, some of the people that see the blue birds and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, maybe some of that stuff, but it didn't resonate with me. But there are some other guys that are revealing stuff. I will say stuff before they complete it. I was like, before they even talk about it, I'm like, I remember there's like there's light and warmth all the way out to the other end of the galaxy. And they're like, the sun is like, everybody says that you have to be close to get warm. It's like, it's warm all the way through. I'm like, I knew that, it's like, how is that? Maybe, it's because, in the first time in 800 years on 12/21, we're going to have an event where Jupiter and Saturn are going to line up like it happened. They're calling it like the time where Christ was born, the Bethlehem star. And, maybe they have a lot of light, a lot of energy that come off of them. I don't know. I'm feeling that they do, but how do I prove something like that? Because it's all suppressed. And then they're going to, that's stupid because the sun doesn't have much energy out there. But when those experimental craft fly by some of those planets, they've looked green and lush. So it's like, something's going on out there, So do they have internal? Because I think that because I have a Sirius B connection, where Sirius B, all that star system basically rose to a higher dimension. I'm in that. So all those planets that were in that star system when it ascended, like we're getting ready to do here on Earth in our solar system, all those beings there, have continually gone up. So I feel that I'm in a very, very high dimensional existence there, soul level, and I still connect with myself here. So I've had that.
Yeah.
But one of those planets didn't go along, and that's Nibiru. So Nibiru got, like, you guys aren't advanced enough, kind of like we're seeing a lot of people here, you guys aren't advanced enough, boom, you're out. And so it's been, circling from Sirius B all the way through our solar system, causing havoc when they come through because they're negative, but they've evolved to the point over time, like us, and they're ready to ascend as well. Okay, threw a lot out there, so you guys.
One thing that pops up there is very interested in the second of the new Star Trek series. At the beginning of the film, the planet was Nibiru. Did you notice that?
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
I thought that was very interesting. They picked that in that film because I think Gene Roddenberry was definitely an insider from the stuff that I've read and all of that. And I think Star Trek got hijacked, same as Doctor Who and all those other things, and Marvel all got hijacked by darkness. And one thing I think is really important to anybody watching this thinking, oh, it all sounds crazy and sci-fi. And that is that one of the ways that we've been controlled by the dark forces over such a long period of time is that they mix in the truth with fakeness. So if you think about the Bible and the Council of Nicaea in 300 AD, taking out the books of Enoch, and you think about that being rewritten. I think you were talking about that being written by Francis Bacon and King James the other day, weren't you, Michael?
Exactly.
Isn't that you in a past life?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I was Francis Bacon because I've heard that Francis Bacon was Saint Germain. So, and I was definitely not him. So, but I have a real strong connection. So, sometimes we'll have a real strong connection for a lifetime, and it's because we were very close to that person. So I've had some of that. So I don't own any lifetime ever that I talk about, but I have real strong connection. So maybe.
Yeah. So I was thinking one of the themes for me this year really has been, I think the first poem that I put up online a few months ago was that this is a time of intuition, because everybody's always asking, when's this happening? When's that happening? Blah, blah, blah. Who said that? And you can't explain it in a 3D sense. It's like Jason and I have been working on a thing called the Abracadabra Code, where we found a couple of guys approached me who are amazing. They're really funny. I mean, we have a lot of fun doing it. and they talk about the fact that we are the creators of this universe and it's already ascended, and we're going through these processes. And they discovered this clock related to the word abracadabra, which is a magical word, and magic is a big part of what I'm interested in because it's a real thing. But when anybody watching this that's trying to get facts and figures is living in the left brain and not being connected to their higher self. And it's very important that when you're faced with all this stuff about vaccines at the moment and all this fear porn and everything else, and people are freaking out again, and they're flipping back to this sort of left brain 3D reality instead of going back to this year for me has been a wonderful, wonderful gift to humanity in order for people to start really connecting with their higher selves and then trusting that feeling that you get, and then you go further. And the frequency, it's all about the frequency raising, and we can all do it. Every one of us on this planet, well, most of us can do it. I think there are a lot of non-player characters, but I still don't quite know what that means. But they're the ones wearing the mask who are just terrified of everything all the time. So, anybody watching this who's like, well, I need facts and figures, forget about that. Do your research, use discernment, and trust your intuition. I think that's what I wanted to say.
That's beautiful. Nice. Very good.
And that's bringing it down. That's what I like, because I really want people to understand how desperately we need everyone on board on this. And to have faith during calamity is the ultimate faith. And it's the most fun once you've done it.
Once you've done it, yeah.
Absolutely right.
After you're done.
Well, we feel it, yeah. We feel it, don't we? It's like we just know it, and that's why we're so adamant about it, and we keep pushing it, and we keep, I get really frustrated sometimes. I think I keep saying I'm getting you guys over the line. I'm trying to get you guys over the line. And some people misinterpret that as, well, you've got no compassion because you're being so blunt and rude. And I'm like, no, I'm a drill sergeant. I'm going to get you. Come on, I'm going to get you along. I'm tapping into that. So we're all feeling it, and we're just we're the people that have the faith, and we're trying to get you to believe us, because what we're seeing is coming, and nothing is going to stop it.
The night's as darkest before the dawn. And, the reason I talked about nearly dying a few times is because I've been there so many times in this lifetime that I'm completely not bothered or worried about any negative outcome, because we're creating a positive one. But we really are going into something extraordinary. I feel that it's so powerful and strong and beautiful. I'm so excited about it.
Oh, me too. Yeah,
it's so excited. It's like,
and I can see that warrior calm in you too, Mark. It's good because you can tell you've had some challenges and overcome them, and people can learn from that. They can see from our calm. Here we are sharing something that's, a lot of people would be like, I would never get in front of people talking anything like this. But we, have the courage, we have the warrior spirit, to bring this information out and share it. Yeah, we might get knocked down a little bit here and there, but there's enough people that are waking to it. And like you said, there's that left brain where you're like, well, where's the proof? Well, ask your right brain, your intuitive side, if it's right or not. If it's not right for you, then don't listen to it. But if it resonates, then yeah, that's good. Start doing a little research and get on board, listen to some of these conversations and see what happens.
Good.
In everyone, that's what it is, because it's all about consciousness. This is it. This is what it is. It's the war on consciousness. We've known this for a long time. We've utilized that for every single aspect of what we do in what is called the secret space program. I still feel a bit saying that word, but because it's like, I wanted to talk about what I saw. I think I said this to you, Michael, when we finished recording. I'm not sure if I said it in an email, but I was tapping into how this all works. And what I felt was these layers of, I think I did tell you. I said you were connected to many layers of, how some people say, oh, I'm from the Pleiades, or I'm from blah, blah, blah. You're actually from many places. And so here in this realm, I feel as though there's like the core, that there's your higher self. Okay, so that's your core, or that's your consciousness. That's this thing that is controlling the avatar, but it's not just one avatar. I feel as though there's these multiple dimensions that you exist on. So there's one avatar that is this super soldier, and there's this other avatar who's you here, washing your dishes in the kitchen. And then there's this other sort of layer where you might be a blue alien from Arcturus or whatever. And then you have another, and that's where we're getting all these memories. They're not necessarily past lives. They're coinciding. They're not past lives. What are they? They're multi-dimensional lives that are coinciding all at once.
Yeah.
And so we can pull memories from here and there. I've had so many, I don't know if you call them daydreams or waking visions of me time traveling. Like it's like a superpower I have, I think, because I mean, it's like another life. And I've said it to my friend, like one of my best friends. It's like, even these things, I'm time traveling and I'm able to go and affect people and do this, and like I'm a spy of some kind, and I'm doing these things, you know, and all I had to do was concentrate on this tone or something, and then I go into it, and then I'm there. And I just have to go to a certain location, and then I do it. It's so vivid, but anyway, I digress. So let's just talk about the structure of how this could possibly be, because when people are saying, well, what is it? Are you physically there? People are trying to understand, what is a secret space program? Do you get taken in the middle of the night? Are you abducted by aliens? And no, it's the fact that your consciousness is everything. It is all of your experiences, all of this reality. It creates realities through its ability to observe. And well, you know, I guess we create that, right, with what we focus on. And we exist on many dimensions. So when you say I'm a Palladian, you are right. When you say you're a Syrian, you are right. When you say, you know, you are right. You are right about all of those things. You can be many things at once. And your soul can split. I think we talked about this, Michael. I'm not sure if we touched on that. Your soul, I'm basically saying the same thing. You are in many places at once. Many people are. But non-player characters, not sure about that.
Now, for the secret space program, basically my memories are that as a little boy, they came and got me. So they see when your light comes in, it's almost like when Jesus came in, you know, they're like, look at it as like, oh, the three wise men, there's an advanced soul that came in over there. Let's go check that out. So they have a way of knowing some of us that incarnate. It's like, there's one, there's a strong one. And then they wait to get a little bit older, you know, 3, 6, 7, whatever. And then they come in and say, basically to the parents, we want to take your son. And this is what they do with, you know, a lot of advanced monks. They'll come in and say to the parents, we know that you have a very advanced soul in your son, and we want to take him into, you know, be a monk. And they're like, oh my God, really? And it's like, so they take him off. And so that's the way we are in a secret space program. A lot of us. Now, not everyone is chosen. Most people are like abducted. They're basically, you know, brought in and they're enslaved into the secret space program, unfortunately. So it gets a bad name. And there are planets like Mars that are, you know, underground. Mars is like super bad, you know, but it's getting better. So anyway, I'm digressing all over the place, but I was taking, you know, as a little boy, and they came to my mother and they asked her, can we take your son into a secret space program? And she was like, what do you want to do, Michael? And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. Sounds good. And, you know, so they basically take a piece of us somehow and reproduce us over there. It's not like like I talk about how I've incarnated, you know, in lifetimes where, you know, I'm like 70 or 80-year-old, and then I got like a 50-year-old, and then I got like a 30-year-old, and it, you know, just born. So it's like that. But in the secret space program, somehow they actually take some kind of DNA consciousness and create another one of us over there. And then we have these lives, and they call a lot of people that have been over there call it the 20 and back. So they do 20 years.
Yeah.
Somehow they take that consciousness when they're done and reinsert them back at the point where they were taken. So there's all kinds of consciousness things that are going like that. And some of us, like I believe all of us, we're like, hey, we like it here, we're going to keep going. So I feel that I've done like almost 320 not come back. They're like, ready to keep going? And I'm like, yeah, of course, I love this stuff. So it's like that, you know, we some of us, I believe, come back early, some of us stay longer. So it's that's part of what that is. So another little tidbit for, you know, thought.
Did your mum tell you that she was asked?
No, she wiped. So
I was going to say, my mum would never remember that.
yeah, exactly. Now, you know, just like I'm talking about, like us, we're starting to have memories, and maybe I think some people have had, you know, relatives and stuff that have.
Oh, Oh, yeah. Yes.
Come on, Mark.
So I was a real pain in the ass kid, right? I was my friends called me know-it-all because they'd say, people would say stuff. I said, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. And I did know it. You know, I was lecturing my parents on household bill management when I was 4 years old. They were like, way too young to even think about it. And then this really, this probably messed me up for a bit, but my parents were taken my parents came home one day and told me that they were told by somebody that I was a genius and blah, blah, blah. And what did I want to do? So what did I do? I was 8 years old. I went and told all my mates I was a genius and they all took the piss.
Darkness hates light, Mark.
Interesting. Yeah. So
yeah. And then I got into the Air Force and I remember being told by somebody. I ended up being a stand-up comic and running a theatre company in my 20s. And one guy said to me back then, he said, "Yeah, the problem with you was you were too arrogant," and I was extremely good at everything I did, and I was cocky because I was a young man, you know. And I look back on that, and I'm a bit embarrassed about that. And to any women that I knew back then, I'm very sorry for.
That's funny because I had that too. I had like senior enlisted guys, and I'm just like walking. I'm a Navy SEAL, like just walking through our compound, and there we go, Jaco, you are so arrogant. I'd be like, I'm just walking through here. What?
I got that all the time, and I was.
I did too. Gosh, I remember school. Yeah, I was.
You know, it feels like the last 10 years has been like, get rid of that ego, man. Get rid of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
School of Hard Knocks, no doubt. Yeah.
And then I started a YouTube channel.
Yeah, because you just want attention, Mark. Of course.
I
Oh, yeah.
A YouTube channel. I fought it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I literally had no choice. It was like,
yeah. So this see how everybody can see how this is fun. It's like some people are like, that's a complicated subject, but no, it's like fun.
No,
you know, you can have fun with this stuff, guys. So I've always said that I was going to share this, and because we're all having fun here. I was in Australia. I love working with the Aussie SAS.
Saw you in Australia. I saw you. Sorry. I just had to tell you, Michael.
Only happens in Australia.
I saw a vision of you in Australia.
Oh, good. Okay. So I'm going down there. I'm working with this crew guys, and we just like hit it off. You know, they're SEAL Team 6 level guys, Tier 1 guys, and doing high speed stuff, training and all. And so we go out in the outback. They have like this town out there that we go and train in, and do shooting and stuff. So we're done for the night, and we start drinking. Great beers in Australia, and I look. I'm talking to this one guy, and then I look over, and a couple of the lads are like naked drinking. I'm like, and I look back at my guy. He's like, "Yeah, it's naked drinking, mate. We all do that." And I'm like, "Not me." and he goes, "Yeah, you will soon." And I'm like, So time goes by, and I'm in a like they have like this sergeant's mess, and they have this huge party, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great because I love partying. And so I'm in there, and the waitresses are topless. I'm like, what kind of military base is this? And
it's Australia. It's Australia.
I know. And then, after everybody's drinking for a while, there's women, wives and girlfriends and everything there. And I'm having a great time, talking with everybody. And I look over, and a guy's standing there with a beer naked. I'm like, what? So of course, I learned how to naked drink. Mike eventually did naked drinking because I'm not going to be outdone by the Aussies. And so it was a lot of fun. So I come back to the States, after years. I got my own platoon as a chief, and we're out drinking in the desert. We've been training there for a while, and I'm like, guys, we can do naked drinking. They're like, no, we're not. Well, the night goes on, and everybody's standing around a fire naked drinking. It was like, oh, see, you Aussies are crazy. It's fun. Fun
Now
stuff.
that's military though. We did naked rugby. We used to do stuff in tanks. I mean, I've got photos in the attic.
Oh my God!
We're showing their bum, and I'm like, what are we taking pictures?
See, that's the way you Aussies and Brits are. You're so proper. Everything has to be proper. But when it comes to like having fun, look out. It's fun.
Well, that's, it's called public school where I come from. That's where most of that comes from. Yeah.
All right, Carmen. Any naked drinking?
God.
No, I think that's
no,
I think I was a nun in my last life. No naked drinking for me.
I like the Secret Space Force. It sounds fun. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's go naked drinking on your pad in Saturn. Let's go.
When you said you had this place in Saturn, I just kept seeing a hot tub. Have you got a hot tub?
I'm a hot tub dude.
I'm only doing that.
Got to be
I'm
there.
only doing that if the enhancement goes everywhere. Okay?
Oh God.
I am English.
Yes, Mark. Smutty.
All right, guys. Anybody want to do some last words before we wrap it up? This is a lot of fun. We might have to come back after we get some more memories and do some more stuff. Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you for all the downloads. Gosh, you saw my face. I was just like, oh my gosh.
I know we're gonna be with that for a little bit. So more stuff is probably gonna come through.
Yeah.
And we'll
definitely.
just keep in touch and keep sharing.
I did see myself the other day in a meditation, and I think Carmen mentioned it was you, Michael. You were saying you saw yourself as a kid. Well, I did a meditation the other day. I was just sitting in my chair and trying to concentrate, or not trying, just doing what I do, and I felt someone in the room with me, and I didn't open my eyes, but I could see it in my mind's eye as I had my eyes closed, and it was me, but me as the super soldier, me observing me. And I knew it, and I knew that it was me observing me, and I went, wow, I could see what I looked like and everything like that. So I don't remember what happened after that, but I just saw myself looking at myself. Oh, and I do remember just one more thing. There was a point where I was like that, because it triggered a memory. I remember 2 years ago feeling like I was going to die. I just was like, I'm going to die in 2 years. I don't know what this is. And I didn't feel suicidal. I just felt I was just a really low point in my life where I was just like, I can't keep going on like this. This is not my life. And I was in bed, and I heard very, very clearly, like someone was standing there, and it was my own voice saying, JC. And it sounded like an echo. And I kind of woke up, and I heard this voice, and she said, finish what you started. And that was it. And I went, okay. And then from there, everything changed.
Now, other memories I have are both all the women, and I can see both of you had really short hair at one time. And I think that was early in the program. But now, because I see both. I see you with long hair. So I think later, maybe we realized that, that was...
It's intuition,
Yeah. Doesn't work for me, but for you, for the ladies. Oh, and I didn't bring up that I talked to Carmen one time. I see a lot of you women have like the sound, like the wilding type thing in that one movie where they're like, oh, and they like break up stone and stuff and kill armies and stuff. You guys have that ability stronger than men. So somehow you have some octave that's better. Us men we can do it too, but the women, that's one of many reasons why women are included in the secret space program, special forces group. So it's interesting.
Speaking about strange things or things that we have, I don't know why Mark, tell them about the time when you looked at my eyes change color.
Yeah, we were having a call, and then suddenly Jason's eyes went bright blue, and there was no flare or anything. They just went blue and then back, and I was like, whoa.
He went like this, and it wasn't. He said it wasn't blue like blue as in just the color blue. It was glowing neon blue.
Well, it's this blue that I've seen.
Cobalt.
It's the same blue light that I've seen in visions this year. I've had it a lot, and it's
Like my daughter's.
It's an incredible blue.
Sorry, I want to see if it's got. Oh no, it's not. There was this glowing light on this thing, and it had a blue. It was like that. Yeah. Yeah, like that, like that.
Yeah, good.
So I wanted to know from you, Michael. What's that?
Yeah, you asked me about that, and what's interesting is I remember in a lifetime with Jesus and Mary Magdalene that both of them had like green eyes and they could shift to blue eyes, and I remember that distinctly. So I don't know if that's a character trait or if it's like some kind of thing that because I think that the blue somehow is like advanced, you know.
Well, it's funny you say that. I've had 3 emails, 4 of people saying you're Jesus, and I've had people say you're Mary Magdalene, and I'm like, okay, I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying it's interesting that you say that.
Yeah, that is interesting. You go. There's confirmation there probably. So that's
my family's from Bethlehem, by the way. Like our ancestors are from Bethlehem. Huh. Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
I'm not Jesus.
Maybe, you know.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't doubt that a lot of us have had, you know, past lives together. Level. So, and we're just getting to know each other, you know. So it's like,
it's amazing.
Like, guys,
we're gonna go have a party at Mount Shasta. Didn't we say that to Michael?
That's another thing that we're looking at, Mark, and that's good because you're in the UK, because we want to do events, you know, where we gather and we have, you know, speakers and stuff like that. And I'm sure at some point we're going to do UK, Australia, Mount Shasta, Sedona, Arizona. There's, you know, the vortex kind of energy points. So I know UK is like, you got tons of them. Australia, tons of them. So it's going to be, it'll be interesting to see which ones we pick, you know, and where we go, what we do.
Excellent. That's exciting. All right. Awesome.
Encourage everybody to think about what they loved doing when they were kids, and remember that could be stuff from your past, and that you want to step into it if you loved it. And also just, it really is like JC was saying, it's basically a holy war, and get into it. And the best way to get into it is to go in and infinitely in and see what you bring to the world, because what you bring to the world is the future.
Yeah, and I'll end on saying, anybody watching this that gets worried or in a state of fear whatsoever, just remember these words: the best is yet to come.
Lovely. Yes, very good. Yeah, stay in the love vibration, guys. And, you know, it's been a pleasure, you know, sharing with you guys. And I'm sure we'll probably get together and do some more stuff in the future. So thanks a lot. And for everyone that came in and viewed, there was a huge crowd out there, lots of chat going on. So I'm sure this is going to be shared around the world. It'll be good.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.